Although the fossils proved unicorns existed, scientists still find unicorns to be fairly scary. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. A vast number of kids worldwide have grown up hearing stories about unicorns, thanks to the portrayals of these lovely creatures in films like As Legend, the Harry Potter series, and the My Little Pony franchise. Kids are more likely to have nightmares than pleasant dreams when they see the genuine creatures that are the subject of unicorn mythology. Legends surrounding unicorns existed long before Hasbro produced its first plastic toy in a rainbow of colors. Of fact, the mythical animals were connected to Greek stories, but the ancient Greeks saw them as actual living animals from India rather than mythological figures. Nor were these ancient unicorns the elegant animals that we imagine them to be. In reality, the oldest description of them dates back to the 5th century BC, and Greek writers like Ctesias described them as untamed asses with long horns. Then, in the 1st century AD, Pliny the Elder tells us about them. According to Pliny, they resemble horses overall, but had the head of a stag, the feet of an elephant, and the tail of a pig. Not that the tail of the single-horned supernatural beast is exclusive to Europe. The Qilin and Kirin, the respective unicorns of China and Japan, are both distinct species. It was thought that the Qilin appeared prior to the birth or demise of a significant person. With a lion's head, a scaly green deer's body, and a curled horn, it wasn't quite horse-like. Some individuals think there are allusions to unicorns in the Bible as well. Most academics, however, contend that this is merely an incorrect translation of the Hebrew term rem. Though the phrase most likely relates to an old kind of ox, these beasts are actually referenced 9 times in the sacred writings, where they are emblems of power. Furthermore, unicorns were still associated with strength far into the Middle Ages. For example, Cosmas Indicopleustis, an Alexandrian trader and traveler of the 6th century, relayed Ethiopian tales of the unicorn as a fierce animal whose power came from its horn. The unicorn was likewise characterized as a powerful animal by Saint Isidore of Seville, who lived in the 7th century. That scholar did indeed claim that the monster could stab elephants in the stomach and kill them. Nonetheless, unicorns were still occasionally classified as more akin to wild goats or asses during this period, and were not yet recognized as magical horses. Many people believed throughout the Middle Ages that alicorn, or unicorn horns, were made of that material. It was thought that the growths have magical abilities that could neutralize poison and heal both physical and mental illnesses. The Vikings were one tribe who benefited greatly from this notion, since they conducted a prosperous trade in narwhal horns from the Arctic Ocean. Yes, the whale's tusks were sold as unicorn horns by the mariners. The oryx, eland, and aurochs are some actual creatures that could have served as inspiration for the unicorn story. Perhaps animals with 2 horns that had lost 1 horn due to conflict or mutations did the same. The Indian rhinoceros is another option. As we'll see, the unicorn myth may have sprung from anything resembling a real rhinoceros. Gotthilf Fischer von Waldheim, the head of Moscow State University's Natural History Museum, named the Elasmotherium, a newly found genus, in 1808. It was previously thought that the Elasmotherium had been extinct for 350,000 years, and that the only way to identify it was through fossils. Scientists in the 19th century surmised that the Elasmotherium could only have had 1 horn. Russian naturalist Alexander Brandt stated, "The whole analogy with the rhinoceros points with the greatest certainty to the previous existence of a horn, which must have possessed enormous dimensions, to judge from the size of the blood vessels once encircling the base." Brandt thought that a belief among the Tatar people about a unicorn with a massive horn originated from the Siberian Elasmotherium, Elasmotherium sibericum. However, no people would have been around to see them at that time, as the Elasmotherium was believed to have vanished some 350,000 years ago. Then, in Kazakhstan, an Elasmotherium skull was discovered in March 2016. Furthermore, this changed matters by placing the date of extinction considerably later, at only 29,000 years ago. At least now there was a possibility that the Elasmotherium had survived long enough for humans to observe it and give rise to the myth of the unicorn. Regretfully, For individuals who prefer to imagine unicorns as elegant white-haired equines that appear on posters, frequently with rainbows illuminating the backdrop, the Elasmotherium was everything but delicate. Its shape was more akin to a scary monster rhinoceros than an ethereal pony. Indeed, Elasmotherium sibiricum would have been a terrifying sight, towering 15 feet long, 6 or 7 feet tall, and probably coated in fur similar to that of a mammoth. These enormous creatures each weighed around 4.5 tons, and although the horn's exact dimensions are unknown, it may have measured up to 6 feet in length. Elasmotherium sibiricum inhabited what is now Western Siberia, as its name largely indicates. They were also found farther south into what is now Eastern Europe and in the southwest of modern-day Russia. Though it had a terrifying aspect, the monster was actually a herbivore that grazed throughout vast territories, much like a modern rhinoceros. Paleontologist Andrei Pansine told Phys.org that the south of Western Siberia was probably a refugium where this rhino survived the longest compared to the rest of its range. Another option is that it may go to the more southern regions and stay there for a time. Nevertheless, it's not a given that humans came into contact with the Elasmotherium, even though it's a possibility. Some people believe the legends about the animal have persisted from the prehistoric age, including Willy Ley, a cryptozoologist. Some tales, meanwhile, such as the one written by the traveler Ahmad ibn Fadlan in the 10th century, appear to depict the enormous rhinoceros too precisely to be a fable. Stories from the areas where the unicorn used to reside, however, often include unicorns that resemble Elasmotherium more than the Western version does. An ancient Turkic manuscript, for instance, describes the Chinese qilin as a quadruped with the head of a sheep, the body of a deer, the limbs of a horse, the hooves of a cow, and a large horn. So when exactly did unicorns go extinct? As of right now, more evidence is continually being uncovered, so nobody is certain. On the other hand, one idea supported by a preserved Siberian Elasmotherium skull holds that a meteor strike caused their extinction. Alternatively, environmental change could have claimed their lives. Scientists are still trying to find a solution. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.